Hey guys, I'm Sebastian at Performance Place. I'm going to show you my 3 favorite exercises for high hamstring tendinopathy. These are ones that you might not have seen before. Again, if you've gone through various YouTube videos, then you've probably seen a lot of things. But let me enlighten you a little bit and hopefully give you some guidance into what works well for us at the office here. So, I apologize, I don't have a cameraman today, so I'm going to do my best to get the videos really good for you guys. Best cinematography ever. So, by the way, whatever exercise you like best, feel free to comment. So the first thing we should probably do is actually number one is just test your hamstring. Okay? When you test it, just go through some ranges that maybe bother it. But forward, backwards, side to side. I don't encourage people to usually take a stretch, like do anything like this necessarily to test it, because you can always stretch further. But try a movement, walking up and down stairs, things of that nature. It's important to try this first because you won't know what really worked until you test it prior. Even things like squatting can sometimes bother. So just test it out and note it. Feel what it feels like. So the first thing I like to do when we have people play around with this type of method is we select an exercise which has a high payoff, low risk. And so a buttress plank, if people can do a plank, is actually pretty solid. And so we're going to go from the elbows first. I'll first teach you a plank and how to do it. Okay, so not everyone knows how to do a plank. But I like to start people from their elbows right here. They can go from their knees, but especially from their elbows. And I want them to pull, like they're pulling their elbows back a little bit. Okay? In addition, squeeze your butt cheeks. Okay? The cool thing about a plank is if you really think about what a plank is and why it's called a plank is because you're like a plank of wood. You basically should look like you are standing but sideways. All right? So if you see things like this or like this, these are not planks. These are other things. Again, not bad, but they're not planks. And so what we want is to see if a plank is helpful with a high hamstring tendinopathy. So what we want to do again is pull, even with the hands, and squeeze the cheeks, and hold, 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 hold. Okay, you can also go from the knees. Here, pull, pull, squeeze, hold, 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 hold. Good. Now we can ramp up the time a little bit. I like to do 10 to 15 second holds for most people, especially if nothing bothers them, if it just feels effortful. Again, we're trying to build endurance within the pelvic and torso area, so holding it for longer periods of time within reason is helpful. By the way, 5-hour planks and things of that nature are a complete waste of time. I'm not sure why people still do those. I might change my opinion at some point, but at this point in time, don't bother with that kind of stuff, okay? Usually people's position is bad, and that's why they can hold it so long. So we're going to pull, 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 squeeze, 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 and breathe. Do it with me. In the nose, out the mouth. In the nose, out the mouth. Keep going with in nose, out the mouth. I'm going to just talk you through this. I want you to breathe in 3 seconds through the nose, out with 6 seconds through the mouth, through pursed lips. Just like that, okay? So we're going to do it till you can't do it anymore. So we're going to go up from the knees. I apologize. I even have to go from the knees because it's that hard. In the nose. In the nose. You'll notice the breathing really ramps up your belly, okay? If you're not feeling this in the belly by now, I would start at the beginning again because it's about smoking me. Let's go again. Pull, squeeze, in. Good. Now, if people still aren't feeling it, sometimes I'll coach them into getting a little wider with the elbows. They don't need to just be below, just more out here. This will usually get them to use the belly a little bit more. So what we like to have people do, try their movement out. How does it feel? Forward, backward, side, side, squat, lunge. If it feels better, we're on the right track. We're on the right track. We didn't do anything tissue work base-wise, no stretching, no massage to make this feel better. So what does that mean? Usually that means that you have to take an approach of building support, and you have to use focal exercises for a purpose to make it so we offload your hamstring, because if it's getting overused, again, it's not just overused, it's underutilization produces overuse. Your other hamstring does just as much work, so we need to make things work well so that one side doesn't work more, okay? So that's number one. The second thing we can do is, why don't we do something like we'll do a shin box here. Apologize, I'm trying to pick things that you guys can still do at home. Now the shin box, I like to think about Tyrannosaurus Rex here with two like little claws, mainly because for some reason this keeps people more attentive here. I don't want the spine to bend. Sometimes there are contributions from the spine which create the high hamstring tendinopathy feeling, and it confuses people. So a lot of times if you keep your spine nice and stiff and it's not bendy, or at least producing the movement through the exercise, then you'll get more wins, okay? By the way, if that first exercise helped you, you should really contact us. We're in Huntington Beach. Okay, here, you're gonna slowly rock forward like your T-Rex slowly trying to approach the goat. For some reason, T-Rex always has a goat in Jurassic Park. I'm not sure why. So you're gonna go slow, 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 slow. Good, use the knee, push back. I'm gonna turn just so you can see what my other legs are doing, which is basically nothing. I'm using this area here to push through. So we're gonna go slow, 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 hold, 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 and push. Now we can incorporate the breathing aspect into it. In 3, out 6. What you'll notice is this side butt cheeks start to work. And so that's what we want. We don't want parts of the spine or the hamstring working. If it does, you might have to change the slot, meaning you might go more this way or that way, or you might have what I call an airplane hanger, that kind of tap, like parts of an airplane. Training wheels, let's call it. Sometimes training wheels really help, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3 is a simple thing like a single leg bridge, more in a cook hip lift type of way, mainly because sometimes the hamstring, especially for people like runners who are just feeling it right into this area and not really much into the back, they tend to lag the ability to keep the spine and core controlled as you go through hip extension. And so we're really drilling in a pattern here, although we're doing some strength and endurance too. We're really drilling in a pattern. Can you keep this contained and fixed against your body while you're driving the leg into extension? So what this looks like is here, you're gonna place it right there in the crease and then try to drive it into your belly or just below your rib cage, okay? I'm gonna switch sides just so you can see what this leg is doing for movement. So can you use your hands? Yes, you can, but it's not encouraged. Okay, try to bring it up and then toes into the air. Drive the heel through the floor and try to form a straight line here. What you'll notice is if you feel here, there's the rib cage, which really isn't too present. When you take this away, there's a lot of possibility of rib cage flare. So it's more challenging for a lot of people to actually get this rib cage depressed, which helps out controlling the spine's movement. It's easier to do it with a single leg and a driver like this, like a ball, than it is with 2 legs. Now, if you're feeling hamstring cramping when you're doing this, then I think you found an aha moment. The aha moment is that your hamstring is working way too hard and your glutes are just not working much at all. So what we want to do is drill in the glute as the major thing. We don't want to think about getting up. You literally want to allow your body to struggle and try to push really hard through the heel as long as your glutes are the major worker, okay? You might not get up. Some people just go here and they stall. Perfect. Embrace the struggle. That's part of the process. Can you move where the heel's at to get a change? Yes, you can. And everybody's a little bit different in this, and that's why one-on-one coaching is quicker and more efficient a lot of times, because you get to have years of knowledge just to figure out how to get the exercise to work for you, okay? The whole point is, it's not just to get a sheet of paper to get the exercises. The exercises are not magic. It's how the exercises are coached and how you can pay attention to what they do to your body, okay? I've met people who this exercise has lit them up. Other people, it's their golden bullet or their silver bullet. It's a one-shot fix type of thing, like it just changes their life. So it's important to realize that it's not the exercise, but it's how you do it. And that's why a lot of people throughout YouTube and Instagram, you see these videos and comments where some people are like, this is great, this is crap, because it's very individualistic. Now, before I continue a little bit further in how to use these exercises too for a programming standpoint, let me just bring a model in really quickly just so you can see what I'm talking about with the high hamstring. I paused on this of doing it early because I know a lot of people just want to see the videos of the exercises, which is okay. But for those of you who want to have a little bit more understanding, again, this part's probably more important than actually the exercises. So this is the hamstring, okay? It attaches down right into this area right here. And it comes all the way up and it starts right in the sit bone area. It's important to note that actually some of the spinal nerves here, they collect and they go right by the same area called the sciatic nerve. So just pain in the area is not always the indicator of the problem, but just notice too that a muscle really has its ability to do its job when we have everything else working around it. So the glute muscle goes here, okay? It's the major engine to extend the hip. The hamstring's really good at extending the hip with things like running, but it's not the predominant thing. Also, too, these muscles' ability to do their job is dependent upon, do they have a fixed point of contact, which is going to be based upon the ab wall, the side wall, and the back of it, okay? Notice just from a architecture standpoint how inefficient the lower spine looks to having a supportive area. It's just basically like a leaning tower of Pisa, okay? It highly depends upon the musculature and the ability to use the musculature appropriately to get these things to work. It has to become stable by the other things around it. And so missing out, people who don't do some type of stabilization training for their pelvis, for their hip to address a hamstring issue, they're missing some really simple wins. And although things like tissue work and adjusting and stretching are very helpful, even injections, it's a small part of the puzzle. It's a very small part of the puzzle, and reduction of pain and restoration of function come at different timelines. And let me explain that really quickly because I think you guys really have to gather the understanding of that to understand why this might be reoccurring. Although this might be your first incident with this, I know everybody's at a different point. But what we know is that a lot of times people have reoccurring injuries. And one of the biggest predictor of their future injury is past issue, okay? Someone who broke the wrist is probably going to have more wrist pain in the future. Someone who has a high hamstring strain is probably going to have it in the future. I personally believe the reason why this is because a lot of times people have everybody has their own personal journey with their pain, and I'm no exception with this. Most people, the first time they say, oh, I'll rest it off, it'll go away. It does. Most of the time it does. Second time, they're like, I'll stretch it out and I'll massage it out, and it goes away, and it does. The third time, it becomes harder, and you see this process of things going on because we don't really address the mechanism of why it's happening. What is driving that thing to work too hard? What is making that high hamstring work too hard? So, reduction of pain can happen by many different means, and it can happen very quickly. It can happen within under 2 weeks. I don't want to say I'm claiming like that there's magic bullets out there, but we've seen people within 3-4 days where they're feeling 75% better, even after just one session with us. So they really can improve quickly. However, restoration of function doesn't always come right away. And so it's really important to realize that we can just tell you not to run and it won't hurt, okay? That's normal. But returning to running takes reducing the mechanism. So to get to this point, you have to really get the core and the hips to work very well together. You have to return to restore function of the hip that you had lost through the first and second issue or battle with high hamstring tendinopathy. And that requires you to do stuff like things like sagittal plane forward-backward movement, which is forward, backwards, because this is a ball and socket. Okay, a lot of us do this. They go to rehab and they're like, oh, got to do squats. Got to do deadlifting. Yep, that works. It works very well. However, you got to go side to side. Let's just say lateral squats. And we got to do rotation. Okay? The hip and the shoulder they're ball and socket joints. They're very good at producing multiplanar movement. They do forward, backward, side, side, rotate, rotate. That's what they do. Let them do it. It's not uncommon to see somebody after something like a high hamstring tendinopathy where they just lack rotation. Let's get that rotation back, and let's get you back into running. It won't be too challenging. It's just going to take a little bit of work on your part, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun stuff. It won't be floor-based things, okay? So I'm Sebastian in Huntington Beach. I'm at Performance Place Sports Care. We do a very good job with hips and high hamstring tendinopathy, so please reach out to us. If you're not local to us, that's okay. We've been trying to really help everyone out where they're at, and we know what it's like to have friends in different areas who are not able to find the help that they need, and they just sit there and suffer. And especially when offices are closed, or if you're not able to go into an office, people suffer longer. And the longer you have it, the harder it is to overcome. So reach out to us and just ask us what to do. Where do you go? We know a lot of people. Hopefully we know someone by you, or maybe we can help you too. So just reach out to us, and you just have to take the next step just to recover, okay? Email us, info@p2sportscare.com. Again, the email is info@p2sportscare.com. You can call us, 714-502-4243. That'll get you there too. Emails, we can use to set up a call and be a little bit more concise, but the reason why we do want you to reach out to us is because having a conversation, trying to have a private one on things like Instagram and YouTube is very challenging because people interject in there, and it's not structured. So we want to have a private conversation with you to get you where you need to go, and it's very hard to do that. So we're trying to get that conversation off of these platforms. But you can certainly comment and tell us the best exercise for you. But we do want to help you, and to do that, we we know that you have to email and talk to us. So we're here to help. Start the process. We're here for you. So share, like, and subscribe to the channel. Talk to you soon.